Hi. So, for the past 1 year, I've been really meditating, have put all my focus on just one thing. Why the world has so much knowledge, yet it's miserable. Like we all know everything, starting from Puranas to the latest news that's been going on, whatever that happened to happen, we know it. And people are really good with inferring. They have solutions almost for everything. Okay, let's stop just talking all this abstract thing. Hi there, I'm Hruday Harsha, and I believe that having the best relationship with yourself will reflect in all other relationships that you have. That is where the most healing happens. Healing in terms of your life force, which we call as prana, and also in terms of vitality, which is virya. And these are very, very crucial for the life to happen. So, let's just get started with my own life story and why I've started this, where I'm coming from. Yeah. So I have begun my journey. I think it's around 17, if I could recollect. Yeah. And I was this kind of a person where one wife or one life, because of the kind of environment that I grew up in, the kind of stories I heard growing up, and that actually put me in a very difficult situation. I've just lost a lot of mental energy because of it, even before losing the so-called mental health. It was back in 2015. I used to be this kind of a person who wants to give some gyan to almost everyone that seeks some kind of help, or even if they just merely look miserable. So I used to give solutions just like any man would. That didn't end up quite so well. And my girlfriend back then, she knew what she knew, and she always had a saying that I'm getting risked by some other boys because you don't spend enough time with me. And that kind of stuck with me for a very long time. I used to blame myself because somewhere when you idealize or value the person that you are with, you will believe their false wisdom. So, so yeah, so that kind of continued into my next two relationships, if not consecutively. But, anyways, that was enough for me to just completely destroy my moral compass. Even my body just almost it was about to shut down. I had a leg paralysis because of lack of nutrition, and I was in depression because of how the relationship just kind of messed up with the person that I trusted back then. So that's when everything started to become a question to me. Why do we know that this is going to end in certain way, yet still choose this path? Yes, some people might call it dumbness, some people might call it you're just too good to listen to bullshit. And I can take all the perspectives, put it in the mixie, and get the truth. That is, when you value somebody, be it good or bad, it doesn't matter, you will start believing in their lies. They feel real, they feel logical, yet they are never sensible enough. I don't know if you had gone through this situation. It doesn't have to be the romantic relationship. It can even be with your parents or with your siblings or maybe even with friendships. This happens in all sorts of relationships. It doesn't matter the kind or the type of relationship that you're in, but what matters is that when you value somebody, it can even be with your teacher, when you value somebody and they demean you enough that you start to believe that maybe you're the problem, your perspective is the one that's faulty. It takes hell lot of time to recover from it. You will just get engaged into pleasurable activities because you're so disappointed with your own self in life, and you just can't stick to one thing. Your energy becomes so fickle. One day you're all motivated, you're all maybe wise, maybe positive. The next moment you are just at the verge of collapsing your entire moral compass. This is really tough. And I guess only the most sensible people, if not the sensitive, have this kind of problem. this is not normal and this can't be normalized. If it does, then I must say everybody who was once sensible will be senseless. I guess most of the world is going towards that side. People are getting more into drugs, sex, alcohol, anything that can give them pleasure. I don't do drugs, I don't do alcohol, but when I'm in a relationship, I have a lot of sexual intimacy. It just felt like I was only getting engaged into this more and more as I'm getting more and more disappointed at the whole life aspect and how this entire relationship thing is going on. And on top of this, there comes infidelity. That is when your partner says something and does something else. It's not necessarily cheating. It's not necessarily your partner not keeping a word or a pretty promise, but it's actually on the major aspects. It's like when they really want to get better, but they do all the things that will not make them better, and then they regret, and then they need emotional support, and then you somehow give that emotional support, yet they don't recover, and everything just looks so foolish. Imagine this thing happening over and over and over, and this becomes a big unbelievable thing. At a point, you just stop trusting. You'll only hope in things that they will get better. I mean, did this thing not happen with you that, I don't know, somebody you just really value them, and then you have this blind hope that someday they will understand you. And this is one of those things, the classic ones, which will break your moral compass. And all of these things really put you in a situation where everything feels uncertain. You are at this constant war against something that you can't even see, but you have this anger, this rage within you, but you also want to be kind, but you can't. But you're also sensible. You're just bearing and bearing and bearing and bearing. You'll just suddenly pop up. You'll just go all rageous. You might scream, you might shout, you might hit wall or whatever. And at worst, you might do all the wrong things that you otherwise assumed would never even do. So this is what happens when you lose moral compass. And then how can you tell you lost moral compass? See, the thing with losing moral compass is that more and more you lose your moral compass, you will start to become guilty and shameful. Again, why? It was pretty deep. It took me months to figure this out, but here is what I have concluded. It's like when you don't have a character, you just don't have a certain morality. Everything becomes uncertain. And why exactly you won't have a character in the first place? It's simply because you have valued someone more than the things that are actually valuable. Your value can be anything. It can be providing, protecting, communicating, listening. The moment you just compromise on any one of these, the rest, all the values will be forced to be compromised, because your ultimate value is that person being with you. So I've realized no amount of knowledge or having these psychological theories about attachment can make you a better person. I mean, to some extent, many things can heal you, but if you keep falling back into those same old patterns, you're just stuck, and then there is a lot of chaos in your mind. Sometimes you have these memories that get randomly triggered, maybe by some music, some environment, or whatever maybe it is. Trust me, there is nothing more miserable than knowing your shit and still being in shit. That is exactly why I started this thing called Relate Consciously. This, you just relate to yourself consciously first, so you could reflect the same in the kind of relationship that you're in. I want people to get together. I want people to listen to each other, but it just doesn't happen just because it's ideal. We all have some sort of idealism, yet we can't really be that way. We just fall out of our own character. We just have these breakdowns, have emotional burst out. We just don't even have energy to put any efforts into this relationship. Sometimes it feels so one sided that you just want to break everything, every single goddamn thing. I found a way out of this shit. I'm not just here to give you more knowledge, but I'm just here to sync that very knowledge that you already have in a way that it makes sense to you. If you're somebody who is looking to really upgrade this year, actually heal, no bullshit, no crap, then just join my WhatsApp group and I'll be guiding you from there. And it's absolutely free until you want to learn something really serious. So, welcome to my channel of Relating Consciously, and I'll see you on the next video.